Are we alive? Hi, guys, and welcome to the Take 17 Reactors Summit, where we every week go over the weekly events of the Schmoedown and then any news and breaking stuff, and we laugh about 100-layer lasagnas and the whole shebang. So obviously this week we're talking about nothing important at all. Just, like a little thing that happened in Burbank, California over last weekend, or 2 weekends ago. The live event, it was a big deal. A lot of stuff happened during this. A lot of freaking out took place. Some of it off camera. I could reenact, but I'll do that later. And we got a great panel. So we're going to get right into it, and we are glad that you guys are all watching us. This is our first live summit. It's awesome.
Awesome. Everything good, Kristen?
Yeah, sorry. I got distracted. So that happens. Okay, so we also have a really great panel today. We have, I don't know if all of these people are actually going to be talking in the panel. They're just here. So we have people who are actually at the live event. Linus and Nico were both at the live event. So how's it going, Linus?
It's going well. Yeah, the live event was an amazing time, and I'm very excited to talk about it with you guys. Nico and I are both sporting the live event shirt that we got there for a very cheap price of $30.
Yeah, Nico, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. We're doing this for charity, help out dogs, Red Rover. You can see my dog here. Hi, Luna. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the Schmoedown live. I got Harloff and Ellis's autographs right here on my shoulders or my pectoral region more so. So yeah, we're going to have some fun today.
Definitely. Also joining us, as always, our regular scheduled guest, Malcolm Lay. How's it going?
Pretty good. Just ready to talk about the live event and crazy stuff that happened.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I'm super excited to talk about this. Also joining us, we have, Abe, are you actually going to talk during this one, or?
No, I'm just here to say stupid shit.
Okay, all right. Well, Abe, you're joining us. Are you doing okay?
I am.
Perfect. And Chris Clark is also here. I'm not sure how much he is going to be saying because he did actually share a lot of his thoughts.
I'm good. Yeah, we can just. I'm good.
All right.
Let's rock this. Let's rock this, Kristen. Let's do this.
He's just gonna make up a bunch of things. We don't know. We don't care. It's fine. And then we have Dom, right? Or yeah.
Yep, Dom Lizzie. That's me.
I got told there was someone else coming, and then I don't know where they're at. So we got Dom. He's new. He's a new addition to the summit for this week as a guest. We're really excited to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your Schmoedown fandom real quick so we know who you are.
Well, I'm probably not somebody who would be considered like a diehard fan only because I am like one of the people that still stays in it really more so for the trivia than the storylines. But I just appreciate Christian and Mark for everything they've been able to do for this thing. And just once again, kind of just feeding into the whole thing of, wait, there are other people online who like movie trivia, and wait, there are people who get paid to do this stuff. But yeah, so just happy to be here.
Definitely. I'm glad to have you here as well. It's always good to have new guests that we can get some new opinions, and we always like showing off all the great fans that the Schmoedown does have, and this is an awesome place to do it. We do want to remind everyone that this entire weekend of streaming on Take 3 and the Worldwide Movie Games Network is in honor of Kirk, who was our dear friend Pat Campbell's dog, who passed away recently. And there is a charity going on right now where you can donate. There's a link in the description, and all the donations go to Red Rover, which is a great thing that helps animals in need. So if you have any extra money or know anyone who likes to donate to dogs, definitely check that out. But we're very happy that we're able to bring this live to everyone in support of dogs in need everywhere. So we're going to start this week out talking about not the first match of the week, because I think we need to talk about the live event as a whole and one thing, because it was crazy. We're going to talk about that celebrity match. So this one was John Roca versus Alex Wolff. He's in a little movie called Hereditary.
Well,
whatever. It's so terrifying that I can't remember what the name is. Also, he was in Jumanji, which more people will probably have known him from. But this actually, I thought, was an interesting match. He was. That was his big breaking role, was in Jumanji.
He was also in a little thing called the Naked Brothers Band, which we all grew up with, but that's not important.
I did not grow up with that, so I don't know.
I did not grow up.
I'm a little bit older than everybody.
That makes sense.
So.
I was about to say, that makes a lot of sense. It just shows you how young I am. Ignore me then.
No, I know what he's talking about. I'm younger. Too.
I'm just older than everybody. It's fine. So we are going to discuss this match. I thought it was very interesting. I thought that the overall banter between the two was fantastic. We're going to dig into this match and talk about the actual gameplay of it. But we're going to start with Malcolm because he's our regular guest. Malcolm, what you think about this match?
This was a fun match from the opening. I guess you could say it was the promos because they didn't actually cut proper promos, but Alex just digging at John in that opening is you can tell Roca was trying really hard not to crack up laughing with everything he was saying. He was just digging at John, John's going, oh yep, I loved your mother, stuff like that. It's just, and the match itself, as Christian and Mark actually said, Alex asked for it not to be softball questions. He asked for a tough opponent, and he almost did beat John Roca in the end. But just came down to that last question. It's just a great match. I'd actually like to see Alex come back as a regular competitor.
Definitely, and I do like that you brought up the level of difficulty of the questions because it was just a regular Schmoedown match. It wasn't what we've seen in the past for celebrity matches where they have toned down the difficulty a little bit. It felt like a pretty normal Schmoedown match. We're going to shoot it over to our first-time guest, Dom. What did you think about this one?
I enjoyed it. To reiterate what Malcolm was saying, I liked that it was more than just a typical celebrity affair because, like I said, I'm one of those people who actually has not liked the celebrity matches from what they've done so far because most of the time, just because I'm just such a Schmoedown fan, that the questions, because they are so toned down and so easy, that it often feels just like they're promoting whatever movie that is that they're promoting. And I have nothing against that, but I was just really shocked at that he wanted a non-softball match. And I was happy that not only did he get non-softball questions, but that he also was able to back up what he talked. Because I'm a fan of trash talk, but I'm not a fan of when people can't back it up. So, and I'm happy that he was able to back it up. And hey, he almost beat Roca, so that's that says something.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I was very, very impressed with his showing. And Nico, did you have kind of similar feelings about this one?
I just want to point out that no one has mentioned that he answered Jane Fonda without any referential knowledge of the show and how that has backstory to Roca's career. It was just beautiful, unintentional comedy right there, which is crazy because everything else Alex Wolff had done in that match was intentional comedy, and just this one moment made it all better. But yeah, he's a strong player for in terms of regular questions, and the beauty of this is that this match was an exhibition, so he can come back at any point and with an 0-0 record for an actual match and likely hold his own. And he can also at the same time say, hey, I went toe-to-toe with a former champion and I did pretty well for myself. Who are you, bum off the street? All the cards are in Alex's favor for if he wants to continue his Schmoedown career as an amateur or professional, whichever he decides to do. Roca, I liked his use of mind games, but he kind of went to the well one too many times that everyone could see what he was doing. But Roca says that no, it's just me slowly coming to the answers as time goes on, and then I'm like, Okay, I don't know this. Now I kind of know this. Now I'm sure of it. So, like, who's to say? Like, who's to say if he's fucking with us or if he's actually, this is just how his strategy works?
Yeah, I think one of them was definitely him being a cheeky individual. The other one, I think, was more of his method of finding the answer, because he thinks about connections between people and then kind of like gets to the answer that way. Like, oh, this movie feels like this and it's connected with this, and I know he's directed this person, and you know, he has like a method, and it takes a while to go through the web, I think, sometimes. Linus, what did you have a chance to watch this, and what were your thoughts?
I did watch this match. It was pretty enjoyable, and I even sort of saw shades of the JTE Cody Miller match almost, if Alex did pull up the upset, some celebrity coming in and going very well against an actual competitor. So I would definitely like to see Alex Wolf back in some form or another. And at his age, too, Alex Wolf, he was born in like 97, he said. So
97, yeah. My age.
He's very young for a Schmoedown competitor. Probably, besides like the It Cast, he's got to be probably one of the youngest people that's ever played in the league, and he was very impressive for that.
Yeah, the Power Rangers cast were pretty young, though.
Yeah. Anyways, but this was more tough question, being that young, coming into these tough questions and actually performing pretty well. And John Roca, gotta say, this probably wasn't his best match, but good thing it was just an exhibition, because I hope to see the Outlaw back in his original glorious style, and go back to the good, the bad, and the ugly theme for your entrance music, Roca. Please, just go back to it. That's what we all want.
I do miss the good and the bad and the ugly theme, particularly. That is something that I have been noticing and missing a lot. So yeah, it's just I like the new music, but like I really miss the old thing. Chris, did you have anything else you'd like to share about this match here?
Well, look at this. Like, these celebrity matches help the Schmoedown, because financially speaking, this is a promotional Schmoedown. They got money to help them make the production even better, and these matches are just good in general, just for that entire business mindset. The match itself was fine. It wasn't anything to really write home about. I mean, I wouldn't say it wasn't John's worst match, because I'm convinced that he probably went a little easy on Alex a little bit. I think he went a little bit easy on Alex a little bit for this. So I wouldn't put any grain of salt on how well or good John did during this match, just because I feel like this is a celebrity match. I mean, they're not really playing it seriously, so John probably wasn't playing it to his full content. So it was just a fun match. It was an exhibition, and it should be commended for that.
Definitely. Abe, do you have anything funny you want to say about this one?
I like this match a lot.
Thank you, Abe.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you so much. That was the funniest thing I've heard all day. All right, my takes on this match was Alex Wolf is truly a gifted person on the mic. He was hilarious with his intro. I loved the way that he utilized like the board. He tipped over Roca's mic. I mean, like he was in it. Like, he wanted this thing to be fun. I loved it. I thought his little like shtick with Roca at the beginning was really funny, and like they had really good banter during the match itself, and his performance was actually very strong for someone who's never seen any of the matches. I do have a bit of a theory on this one, that this was a last minute kind of thing. It didn't feel like it was entirely planned in terms of, hey, we have a celebrity coming to do a match to promote the movie. It felt more like the celebrity's already here. We do this thing. Would you be interested? And John Roca's like the only one in the office who was willing to play him, you know, like that's what it felt like to me. I don't know if that's accurate or not, and I don't want to wear tinfoil hats or anything, but just Roca, the way he was playing, he seemed very laid back. He didn't seem like, when he plays matches, he gets into a kind of mental focus that he did not have during this match at all. And so just to me, it felt like, this is last minute, we're going to go into it and just have fun. And you know what? For what the match was, I think that was the perfect attitude to have for it, because it ended up being really entertaining. So I liked this a lot. I thought it worked really well. And it was a really good way to break up these two live event matches a little bit. which we are going to move on to. So the live event, obviously, is what everyone's talking about right now, and it was fantastic. I thought eventually I'll get to see one of these things probably, but it looked like it was a lot of fun to be there. So we are going to talk to the people who were there. We're going to talk to Linus and Nico and just get their experiences from the live event. Let us know, what you thought about it, what being in that room full of Schmoedown fans was like, meeting your heroes, all that jazz. So we're going to start with Linus. Let us know what you thought about that live event.
It was crazy. When I was walking over to the building, I saw late to the party Robert and Vanessa just walking. Also, I got to talk to them. We actually sat, Jeremy, Mike, and I, we kind of sat right behind them, which was really cool. And it was just great in reactions. Everyone was super friendly. I remember standing outside and you could see Ken Knapsack and the group of the Lions Den just walking around the street, which was hilarious. And just little interactions.
Get the bums there.
They were so thankful. They were just so thankful that all these people came out for it, and the event was amazing. And just meeting everyone, it was a fantastic time. And it was so weird because us in the fan community, we don't really think that they care about us that much. I mean, they're so interactive, but when I have Breanne Chandler going up to me and recognizing me, it's a crazy experience for sure. And I met Drew McWeeny, which I run the Above the Line fan page, and him and his girlfriend Lisa were so sweet. They actually got me something. It was the Godfather Cup, and he autographed it. And it was just insane to see these people that I'm such a fan of caring about the community so much with this event, and they put on a fantastic show in every way imaginable.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I like that you brought that up where they actually care about the fans, because the fans that, respond well to things and talk to them like real human beings, they do actually remember you. And the times I've been there, they mention, when fans are legitimately nice to us, we talk about it. There's shop talk that happens at the Collider office where they're like, hey, yeah, I got this comment from a fan and it was really cool and they're awesome, And they talk about the fans. When the fans are great, they talk about it. When the fans are sucky, they talk about that too. So definitely don't want to be one of those people they talk about. Nico, you're not one of those guys, so definitely wouldn't have had that experience. But what was your life experience?
1 second, I'll be right back.
Well, first I was there to witness Linus meet Drew McWeeny, and the look on his eyes when they finally came face to face. You could tell this was a child meeting his idol, and it was so special to witness for myself. In terms of my personal experience, so if you saw the second matches video, the Shire Wolves versus Team Action video, you see that they're right before they actually show the promo package for the match. They show a bunch of people in line waiting to get inside, and who did they give a mic to? This mofo right here. They gave a mic to me, and I just said my piece. And depending on your point of view, that's either a really good or really bad idea to give me a mic. I just made the most of it. I'm like, Shire Wolf's gonna win, and your guy's gonna commit a felony. Probably Dagnino too, counterfeit watches. I don't know. But we got inside. I get to. I'm with my cousin Anthony Bresnikan, who's been on Collider Jedi Council 1 or 2 times. So I had an in there. So we get to take the photos with Christian and Ellis, and he introduces me, and Christian's like, "Your cousin is Nico? That's awesome." It's again, going back to what Linus said, they know us if we're very active on the fan communities, and it just meant so much. And then once we got inside, I got to meet I met Jeremy Adams in person the night before at the Federal Bar meetup, but I got to meet Linus for the first time. I got to see Jeremy. I got to see Mike Hanley. I think Patrick Campbell was also there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, we talked to him for a bit.
He was also there. Just getting to meet so many people we know, like Drew McWeeny, like Mike Kalinowski, even though it was for a brief second.
Yeah, Dad.
I talked to him. Mike was great. I talked to him. He also recognized me, which was
I'm upstairs. Yeah.
Hey,
So we know he's upstairs.
conversations.
Okay, Dad.
Where's Doc?
I got people like Perry Nimrod. I got to finally meet my girl Janine in person for the first time.
Yeah,
Very
she was
special
cool.
to me because we're very close. Dan Chandler on the stage during the photo ops and Q&A after the show ended. I got to have dinner with Alex Damon, his wife Molly, Joseph Scrimshaw, and Brian Ward. That was amazing. So like it's one of those nights that I'm going to cherish for a very long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that fans are having good experiences when they go to these things and meeting the competitors, because they are just really great people. And I've never met someone who's been involved with the Schmoedown who I haven't thought was just a really great person. Was there anything during the live event that we didn't actually get to see on camera? Because I saw pictures that people were posting that didn't actually make it into the actual cut of the video. If you want to let us know if there was anything else that happened or anything of note, feel free to let us know that.
The Kalinowski thing was one a lot of people were talking about, where he was on stage, like looking at the audience, doing his heelish ways. And I actually talked to Mike for a few minutes, like, well, after the Q&A was over, everything, after the show was over, and he didn't exactly tell me what that was about, but what he said was the competitors weren't really allowed to sit in the audience or anything. So what I kind of gathered that Mike kind of just went out there to look at the audience for the most part and just see what was going on. I don't think it was scripted or anything. I think for the most part he went there to see the audience, see what was going on, and just do his heelish ways that Mike loves to do. And he's playing this character off greatly. So I don't think there's too much to read in there, or just a little more of Mike playing to his character.
And interesting thing is, like, the show hadn't started when this happened.
No.
Like I remember back to stories I've heard from old pro wrestling days, is that kayfabe was not exist. You lived your character. You lived your character that you played in the wrestling ring. So like if you went to the airport and you were a heel, you would play that heel 24/7 because you wanted to keep up that image of yourself. So it was weird because like Kalinowski was basically like, for the moments he was talking to Linus, he was just like himself. And then he gets on that stage and he sees, we're playing highlight reels of old matches, and he sees like the moment where he and Gertler lose the team action, and he's watching the video on the stage, just standing, and he's just like he's watching himself slowly get more and more pissed off, and then finally he watches himself have that heel moment where he breaks up with DC Movie News and the league, and then he just storms off on stage randomly, and it's like it's minuscule the things he did, but it made a giant impact. And as for other things we didn't see, like there's a certain promo for one of the matches that I don't know if we can go into detail about that yet, but like certain things that were said did not make it to the final cut, which we feel both
very disappointed.
Feel like it should have made it in there because it was funny.
It's hysterical. But yeah, we'll talk about that more when we get to that thing. But
yeah, we will definitely be talking about the actual matches and everything that happened outside of them as well, because there's a lot of crazy stuff, obviously, in like literally a minute. I know that you guys did have some footage, some videos and stuff, so we're actually gonna throw it over to some of that. I know Chris has that on. Hopefully.
Yes, I do. First, we're gonna go to Linus, and I'm gonna just import Nico's video live because I got it just before we went live. So first, we're gonna go to Linus. Okay, guys, here we go.
I'm Linus Babcock, and I'm at the Schmoedown live event.
Ken with the cap, of course. His two-pointer and tie up. Joseph I didn't even notice cops here.
Tom Dagnino just walked around.
Cody Hall.
What was Leia's first line?
Won't show anymore. This starts making sense. You did this, though. You did this. Fire somebody! Fire somebody!
They got a text number on the screen wrong right now.
I'm pretty sure this is Stock's problem. I don't know who that number is, but please do not text it. The correct number is 499, not 449. Please do not text that phone number. Well, it's too late. Otherwise, I'm going to probably have a very angry person coming after me tomorrow.
There's the wheel. There's a spotlight on the wheel. The real commentators in there are actually Cody.
My boy Linus is here. Where are y'all at? Get the money. Fly out here. I'm here. So are the guys.
He's coming to see you, buddy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Clark.
Driving with Daisy.
Sam.
Go ahead,
Driving with Daisy. Both correct.
All right. Just getting loose here, the sudden death round.
Next question. All right, here we go. Next question, guys. Name the comedy troupe responsible for Super Troopers, Club Dread, and Beer Fest. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Sam.
Broken Lizard.
Correct.
Broken Lizard.
Right up.
It's like the best thing ever.
Love Club Dread, by the way. Love Club Dread.
Of course, Nico's got a horn in on this.
It's in the fucking movie. I'm just
All right. All right, here we go.
Your next question in the sudden death round, your fourth question.
Nico's cousin
Nicolas
knows
Cage, Emma Stone,
That's crazy.
and Ryan Reynolds all voiced
his cousin know
cavemen
McQueen.
in what animated feature?
Oh, shit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sam.
The Croods.
Clark.
You got it.
And your winner, and still movie trivia Schmoedown champion of the world, the inglorious one, Sam Levine. Just missed sudden death. 3 questions in, that close. Sam keeps the strike classiest between the two of them, sharing a hug, and for nothing else, just to lean on somebody else, because that was an exhaustive effort by both parties, taking it deep into sudden death. I wouldn't want a championship match any other way. Christian was down to the wire.
Sam still has another hill that I have my eye on. And next question.
So, if you can't face Sam right away in singles, potentially we'll be seeing the Shire Wolves soon.
I know this much. If I had Rachel with me today, that match would not have gone into So we're on the path to the belts. We're playing live here in Hollywood on June 2nd. There are tickets available. The Fight Club is all going to be there to represent, and Rachel and I have both come. Yes.
I went the wrong direction. Hey.
To the belt. If you know us, we are very competitive people.
On the final question. When it comes down to it, we all know how great the Killer Colin Nelson is. We know how amazing Adam Winkler is. We're playing a team really together. We're staying, we're going to keep it moving. That's all there is to it, right? We lost. It's a huge loss. I know that's the person we thought we had this one. But when it comes down to it, we'll collect ourselves, we'll come on back, and we'll be even stronger than we've been before. It doesn't matter that we lost to the team that everybody hates. Guess what? In the long run, evil will never win.
Actually, I saw you kind of coaching them through when they went on when Team Action made it on Opponent's Choice. Why did you tell you to go with Sci-Fi Fantasy?
You know, I thought I knew our opponents better than I did. And sometimes people can keep secrets. We don't know people as well as we think we do. And they throw things out there. And I thought they didn't know that category. And honestly, I think they're really lucky questions. You guys, it was not the luck today. And I know we're going to move forward like Johnny said. And I'm positive that next time we're going to win. We're going to study. We're going to make sure we show up. And we're going to hope that they're not as lucky next time.
I don't know. He's
watching himself. Hey, you shut your mouth.
No! No! What are you doing?
I am so sick of it. You guys, where have you been? You guys, now we talk. And Sci-Fi Fantasy, you pick for them, if they're spin, you told them to talk about the morning. Just convenient. I really just, look how good they did on that one. Okay, no, I don't want to do this. Where did you guys, it is on me. It is on you. You're a hero. No, now you want to talk to me, do anything good. You know what you did today? Spin James Bond. That's what you did. That's how I play when I'm by myself. You see that? No, I don't want to do this. What are you guys going to do against Clark? When I sat in that audience, I looked up the audience. I didn't see Adam. I didn't see Roxy, and I didn't see Johnny. I didn't see anyone out there. Oh, now you want to talk. Now you want to talk, man. We came back. I didn't want to do this after all last time. Oh, I don't want to hear that. I need to go do my own thing and take care of this. Oh, here we go. Just relax. Tell me what to do, man. What I need to do, you know what? I got to do this damn monkey soup. You know what? There's three guys.
Walks up on stage angrily after that video ends. So that's basically what happens. So I'm sorry if that wasted too much time.
We're live now. We're live.
Yep. All right. So that
you made that explanation live. Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, so those are the videos. We had the first one from Linus, obviously, him getting to meet Drew, where he's a big supporter of Above the Line, so that was awesome. And then Nico gave us a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff of that Mike Kalinowski stuff that we didn't actually get to see in the match. That's awesome. I am really happy that video exists somewhere since we didn't actually get to see it. But we're actually going to move into talking about the Star Wars match. This, I thought, was really, really great. Obviously, this was between Alex Damon of Star Wars Explained, and then you have... Sure. He's very good at karaoke. That's accurate. I've seen it. I'm going to bring that up every single time we talk about Alex. Also, you have the two co-hosts of the Force Center podcast, and that's Ken Knapsack and Joseph Scrimshaw, and they are obviously both... I mean, all three of these guys are both, all of them, both is not the correct term for three, but they're all of them really, really scary knowledgeable about Star Wars. I had the opportunity to test some of these questions to make sure that they actually made sense and everything, and the wording was correct, and I did not do very well, and so watching people who actually know what they're doing for this is really very impressive to me. We're going to go around the board, figure out how everyone else thought about this match, and we're going to start with Linus. What was it like being in the room for this match, and also what did you think about just, you know, the outcome of the matches itself?
So I was kind of pulling for Alex Damon because it's kind of hard to root for Ken Knapsack now, even though he's extremely entertaining, but his heelish ways, you kind of got to go against it. And so Alex Damon was kind of the sort of a little more quiet, but extremely knowledgeable guy, and I was rooting for him to take the victory, and I'm glad he did. And these people, their Star Wars knowledge is insane, to say the words, because I've seen these Star Wars movies many times, and I'm a big fan myself, but I get maybe 3 points in the entire match, to be honest. But it's so entertaining just the way of they do the trivia and the characters, and it's crazy because you can watch this stuff and not know like any of the answers, but still be extremely invested like you've never been before. And this was a great back and forth between the three of them. I'm glad that Harloff announced that the filming locations is not going to be a category anymore, because that's rough. That's very rough right there. But anyways, these pulls were insane. I just love seeing the Star Wars matches because, you know, in this league in particular, everyone's going to have an insane amount of knowledge on any question asked, whereas in the other leagues, people can be extremely knowledgeable, but they can get a bad spin and not have a great round. Well, in this category, they know pretty much everything about everything. So it's just so interesting to see these Star Wars matches, and I'm glad they had this one live.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the hardest ones are those hero and villain categories because it is so over-encompassing. It can be so many different things. And we've seen that in Inner Geekdom as well, where people are like, oh, I know heroes, and then they get like 1 point in the whole category. That happened with Jared Habon, I believe, in his match against Mark Donica, where, you know, he figured, hey, I know this. I'm pretty sure he got heroes or villains.
I think he got Star Trek.
Did he? Oh, he did.
Yeah.
It was, there was something, he had somewhere where he could have gotten heroes and villains. Someone did. I'm misremembering. I saw
it happened so.
I don't know. I don't remember things. I'm
It's
pregnant. Doesn't make your brain any
We can
clearer.
say that it was Hibbon.
Sure, we'll just say it was Jared the whole time. But you know, it basically, those categories are such a wash because it can be anything that it's just, you know, those are, and as we saw with Ken, those are some of the trickiest categories you can spin. Nico, what was it like for you being in that room for that Star Wars match, and what you think about it?
First off, one thing you'll definitely notice if you're at one of these matches live compared to watching the video is there's no music playing, at least in terms of like when the match is going on. There's no background music playing when you're there live. So you can literally hear a pin drop as they're writing their answers down on the whiteboards. You can hear the wheel perfectly as it spins. Like you can hear a fart in the wind if someone had too many beans before they got to the feeder. Like that's how quiet and intense the atmosphere is. But like they do play the actual entrance music live. There were actual lights, so it was crazy to see that unfold right before my beautiful blue eyes. One thing that should be noted is Joseph Scrimshaw. A good portion of his promo got cut. I don't know if it was for time or just for lack of relevance of the actual match itself, but he went on this whole rant about how he's from Minnesota and how the big portion of the game, the Oregon Trail, is to get out of Minnesota without catching dysentery, and so therefore he is a survivor of a lot of problems just simply because he's from Minnesota. And the fact that it got cut out of the final edition of the episode, it really bummed me out because like it was such a great promo, but it just shows the importance of being there live, is because the little things that you get to see when you're there as opposed to not being there. And also in round 2, the reason why you hear Mark Ellis say if it lands on A New Hope after Alex Damon had already spinned it, the reason why he said if it lands on New Hope, I'm leaving. The reason why I said that is because it had already been landed on like 3 different times after Alex had already. There was some frustration going on, and like people, including myself, were chanting Meryl Streep, Meryl during that match, and like all that got cut out. It's like a lot of fun stuff did not make that final cut. Those are the behind-the-scenes stuff for me. I didn't have an actual dog in the fight, no pun intended, for this charity that we're doing. But I just wanted to see good Star Wars trivia, and I got great Star Wars trivia.
Exactly, and for people who didn't have someone in particular going into this fight, I think this was a great match because all 3 of these guys are literally in contention for the belt at any point in time. That's how good they are. We're gonna shoot it over to Abe for his funny. Do you have any funny comments?
Can we talk about how great Ken absolutely is cutting promos? That may be the best promo of all time, in my opinion. Next to Robert Burnett R&B promo against Navarro in the championship match, it was great.
Yeah, Ken is a master at promos, honestly. It's so good. And a lot of that, I think, comes in play because of his background with wrestling. He's just a force to be reckoned with.
Also, we got a reference. Take 17.
We did. Take 17. As we all know, that's what we're changing our name to officially. But we'll change it back to Take 3. It's all good.
Go more.
And Skillisku, who always gets that good, that good thing. In the chat, I just wanted to shout out to Chase, who was talking about his experience as well during the live event, and he brought up the Meryl Streep chant, and I thought that was hilarious. I love that the fans are getting in on some of the inside jokes that the competitors have with the Meryl Streep and the Natalie Portmans, and that was really funny to hear. So thanks for bringing that up. We're going to shoot it over to Malcolm. What do you think about the Star Wars match?
Yeah, this match was really good because, it was really close as well. I was relieved when Ken didn't win. I mean, as much as I would have liked to see him win, I think Sam needed maybe someone else to prove that he can beat rather than just being a back and forth between Ken and Sam all the time. And I mean, I think if I remember rightly, Alex only missed 2 questions, or was it 1?
If you count the steal, it's 2, but
yeah, he
just the filming
did not
location.
miss very many. Yeah.
Yeah, and
one of the ones he did was the location one.
Yeah. But yeah, he definitely deserved that win. I can't wait to see that match between him and Sam. It'll be the first time we've seen Sam all year. So.
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to that match as well. Last but not least, Chris Clark. What did you think about the Star Wars match? I know that they actually there were a lot of prequelists in this fight, so that might have actually made you happy.
I have a lot of hot takes on Star Wars. I really, really do.
We're not gonna talk about
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about any of that. But I will say this: the best part about this Star Wars match, and I think I actually have a beef with Alex, who makes the slices. The Return of the Jedi slice has Jabba on it, but it's Jabba's model from Phantom Menace. That needs to be changed. That really does need to be changed, but that's beside the point. I loved how Jabba was there. There was a couple Jabba questions in here that I really liked. There was a lot of Jabba alerts, but this match in general was really, really cool. I mean, I would not know a lot of like the deeper things, but I love Star Wars. I'm a fan of Star Wars. I don't retain it, but I love it so much, and what they did was amazing. I'm surprised Ken came in 3rd place, because I had Scrimshaw pegged at 3rd place from the beginning, and he put up a fight, and Alex, the Wikipedia, really showed that he was a Wikipedia of knowledge, and this entire match was fun. It was great. I just wish there was a Jabba category. Simple as that.
You might need to bribe Skaliski about that one. I mean, he is always looking for new categories because the questions eventually will run out about Star Wars, I'm pretty sure, or be so deep cut that not even the top contenders will be able to answer them. Yeah, and you mean the Alex that works for Collider, not Alex Damon.
Oh, not Alex
who
Damon.
does not work
no.
for Collider.
Alex Mazzone, who does the slices.
Yes. Alex, he was in an episode of the Schmoedown recently where he handed Makuga wine. So there you go, Alex. Shout out. As for me, this match I thought was fantastic. I ended up actually watching it with my mom, who admittedly does not really enjoy Star Wars all that much. She likes the new ones. She's not a huge fan of the prequels, and the old ones she was never a huge fan of when they came out. So anyway, but I watched it with her, and at the end of it, she was like, wow, they're all nerds. And I was like, yes, and they probably love it. So it was really just incredibly impressive. These guys, all 3 of them, did a fantastic job. It really speaks to how much they know this category, that their percentages at the end of the match were all really even, like 80% in their range. Really just very impressive. I cannot wait to see Alex go up against Sam. However, on Twitter, Sam has been saying things like, hi, I am not prepared. I've been working a lot, blah, blah. He said, I talked to him before his title match against Ken the last time, and he was I was like, so you ready? And he's like, no. And then he, won that match too. And I get the picture that he's the kind of person who's always going to say that they're not prepared, and then they show up and still dominate anyway. So it'll be interesting to see what happens if he is truly so busy that he can't focus on the match or whatever. Then it could be a completely different Sam than we will have ever seen. But did anyone have any other comments about this, or?
Just to piggyback up with what you said, so you're basically saying Sam Witwer is like the Michael Phelps of Star Wars trivia, where he can take as much time off as he wants and then get back into school and basically win a race without any preparation whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm kind of saying that. And the reason I'm saying this, and I have a really good point about Star Wars matches so far, is that if you look at a lot of the questions that people are getting wrong, a lot of the time, and this is with every competitor I've seen except Sam, it's quotes. They all kind of struggle with quotes. And you know who doesn't struggle with quotes? is Sam Witwer. And it's because, as a voice actor, I'm pretty sure he basically sits there and studies these things and, like, mimics their voices, and that's how he learned to be a voice actor when he was a kid, you know? Like, stuff like that, where, like, it's his job to learn lines. It's his job to, like, figure out how the lines are read and everything. And when he actually, you know, says the answer to a quote, he says it in character almost every time. So,
Strangely enough, though, that's what cost him from being the first champion at the celebration event. Was like, it was a quote question. He was so drained from just signing autographs left and right that, like, he missed it on a quote question after going nearly perfect in the entire game. So he's not immune to it. He's not immune to
right.
curse.
But he definitely knew that answer. So it's not so much that he didn't know what it was. He definitely knew what it was, and it was just the entirety of the day draining him completely that made him miss that completely. But it's just one of those things that not everyone has a good mind for quotes, like the same way not everyone has a good mind for movie release dates. I think that no matter what, no matter what, I think both of these guys have a very, very good chance of getting the belt, and it will be interesting to see who moves forward. That's a good reminder that we are doing this for charity for Red Rover. Please donate if you would like to help dogs in need, like this one, who needs to get off the bed, but I'm not going to let her off the bed. So donate to help her get off the bed.
Do we call it a shameless plug or a shameless pug?
All right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to the next live match. Very obviously, this was the Shire Rules versus Team Action. Everyone has been really, really looking forward to this meetup between the two teams, especially after all of the little videos that Team Action has been putting out and just all the smack talk. It was just really intense between these two guys. And I loved this match, but we're going to shoot it over to Malcolm. Let us know what you thought about the Shire Rules versus Team Action.
This match, it was entertaining and exciting from the get-go. I mean, you had Shire Rules doing a whole Fight Club entrance and coming out, which I would have loved to be in the room for myself. Team Action doing what Team Action does best, all the smack talk. And it wouldn't be Schmoedown without a controversial ending either. And Team Action tried to say that this is the same case as Sam Levine, but it's not. Sam called himself and fixed himself before Harloff asked us that the final answer. Christian, as Christian said on Facebook, he didn't hear what Team Action said, and he asked them what did they say, and they changed their answer and they repeated it back. So, and they got a new question, got it wrong, and Shiles came out with it. And it's just one of those things. Like in a live event, it's probably really hard to catch if some people hear clearly, because from what I gathered from the videos, they were having a few mic troubles too. There's a whole lot of audio discrepancies that I've noticed in the actual thing, so it's something they'll probably remedy in the next one. So
I mean, you brought up the mic issues. There were a couple of those. It's just one of those things where it's hard to fix those on the fly during a live setting. I've worked in theaters before, so I completely understand that issue. It's just once everything gets going, and if there is an issue with the sound, like, there's only so much you can do to fix it outside of almost stopping the entire thing to make sure that nothing's wrong. So, I'm sure they'll make sure that there's nothing wrong during the next one, but, tech, a good common phrase among tech is just shit happens, because sometimes there's nothing you can do. But really, it was just a great match. I loved it entirely. It was mind-blowing from beginning to end. We're going to shoot it over to Linus. What was it like being there for this match? I mean, I can't imagine just the hype that the crowd had because there were so many fans of both factions in that audience.
Yeah, it was crazy hearing the cheers for the Shire Wolves and everything like that, the boos for Team Action, and Action got a lot of the crowd to boo for the Shire Wolves with their opening thing, which was crazy. But I mean, they had a great opening right there, which was crazy. And the Shire Wolves threw out these bars of soap, Fight Club bars of soap. I can't tell their hotel soap, which they put the thing on, which even helps with their entrance. So it just shows how much that team really puts the effort into the entrance. Another thing is my dad was with me at the event, and I showed him a couple matches, but he was saying to me, like, I didn't like Team Action because that Drew guy was too loud. And I'm like, I get you. I get you there. Like, we were kind of rooting for the Shire Wolves for the most part, but definitely an entertaining match. You couldn't ask for anything better. I like when both teams or players get a strength in round 2, and that had happened for sure. Team Action did good in movie release stage, which is good for Ben to finally back up all his talk saying that he was very good in release stage category. So overall, it was just a very fun match. The controversy at the end, the moment that happened, the crowd just kind of went like, oh no. Because you could hear him. He said the wrong answer first, and you can make an argument against it if you want. And I'm usually, when these controversy things, I say just usually give them the points for the most part. But I totally agree with the call for the new question, and they should not have been awarded the points for that. But overall, just the energy and all the effort both teams put in this match was great. I love Team Action was the perfect choice for a live event, and Shire Wolves also. Just the cheering and everything, it was crazy. And I have a soap bar that was put together by the Fight Club now because of this match.
And you'll keep it forever, and it'll be just
Probably
random
not.
soap. Okay, he'll use it because
I'm sure I'll take it to college with me, of course.
I don't know.
This will be my prized possession.
So you'll keep it for at least a year, is what I'm hearing. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot it over to Nico. Same question to you, man. What was the experience like being there with this crowd of very diverse fandoms?
So, very enjoyable. Team Action are showing that they are quickly becoming the best heels in the Schmoedown. And, you know, at first it was just like they were taking the page out of Chris Jericho's playbook where they would call everyone by the wrong name. Like that's something Chris Jericho has been doing for a while now. It's just like he'll call, since all the way back in the late 90s, he would call announcers the wrong name, interviewers the wrong name, people the wrong name, and it got a good laugh. So I like that they're, even though they're not wrestling fans themselves, Team Action is taking that little page out of Chris Jericho's playbook and making it work for themselves. And also, they added a new layer to their heel game, which is that they brought things up that are actually good points. They like the best heels are the ones that present points that you can actually agree with. And the point that they made was that why is Emma Fyfe on stage speaking for the Shire Wolves and not the Shire Wolves speaking for themselves? Now, granted, the reason why is because obviously you have a limited window in between being on that stage and getting ready for your entrance. All Team Action had to do was change suits. But like really, you had Shire Wolves come out with all that makeup on, like you would have gotten the idea of where they were going with that entrance pretty quickly. So like their reasoning behind it, but still, Team Action made a good point, and that's why they got cheered, and that's why they got some people to boo the Shire Wolves. They come out for their entrances. I'm dodging bars of soap because I don't want to get hit in the head. Then Mark Andreyko starts reading through those flashcards. Shout out to Robert Parker. I know he loves his flashcards. I believe I caught flashcard number 5, which was after Mark Andreyko accidentally said T Republic, which is bad advertising. Gotta get it right. Gotta get the links right if you want to make that money. After the promos, it was basically all the Clark Wolf show. Like Christian mentioned on the rundown yesterday, that the only person who has better round ones than Clark Wolf is Drew McWeeny, Linus's favorite person in the world.
My best friend.
she keeps getting 7 points in every first round for like the past 5 or 6 matches, I think. And Drew is the only person to beat her at like 7 to 8, depending on the match itself. So she is a quality competitor, and I really wish that people would stop calling her overrated, because she keeps proving that she is top of the line. And again, she's also one of the luckiest people in terms of round 2. She keeps getting wheel categories that fit her best, especially which is crazy considering when she first started her career, she had a very bad relationship with the wheel, and now the wheel is starting to show her some love. Shirewolves are having a great round 1, great round 2. Ben Bateman, he showed that movie release dates aren't a category to be doubted anymore. Like, it's not just Scott Mance's category. There are people who know these dates and know how to rack up points by knowing these dates. So I'm thinking maybe we should add a few more Schmoedown personalities to that wheel slice. It doesn't have to be just Scott Mance's category.
Just Scott. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just need Mance. That's all we need.
That's my favorite wheel slice. They should sell that wheel slice. I would buy one.
You would buy the wheel slice.
Get Alex on there to make multiple of the Scott Mance slices.
And then in terms of country, I agree with what everyone else is saying, which is that it was the right call to give them a second question because Ben missed it the first time. Him trying to correct himself, he was prompted to do so. And, he missed the replacement. Shirewolves get the victory. And I don't remember if I said this on camera or off camera, but I believe it was their 2 or 3 pointer question. Mark Andreyko, you can just hear him going like that bully from The Simpsons. He goes, ha ha, because like team action is going to get it. It was their 2-pointer. And I don't think that made it to the final cut, and that upsets me because it was a funny moment to happen live.
Yeah, a lot of the time the stuff that happens live doesn't quite make it into the final cut. But that's, it happens. It's how you play the game, right?
Especially the summit.
Yeah, Chris, did you have any thoughts about the match between Team Action and the Shirewolves?
This was insane.
You're muted.
Oh.
No, I'm not.
No, Chris.
I muted you. I muted your Skype. This was insane, though. This was absolutely insane. Look, the match itself, I mean, we're going to talk about what happened after. But the match itself was it was standard fare, it was good. The entrances were probably the most noteworthy part until the end. That whole, I'm assuming you guys, I had to step out for a second, but I'm assuming you guys went through the whole challenge thing with Ben Bateman, right? You could clearly say Ben said the wrong answer when he was prompted. He said the correct one. It is what it is. I mean, it's a live environment. The match was live, and they both brought charisma, and it was. I mean, I keep hearing Nico and Linus saying that the stuff was cut live. That happens. Like, the thing is, you buy the ticket. You get access to some exclusive things to see, and it's great. Like, me and Kristen were at Free For All. There was stuff that happened that didn't make the cut. We can't say what, but
some very funny things that none of it will see the light of day.
Yeah. The only for example, since Bibb said it on the rundown, he literally had to pee the last hour of the match. He literally said, "I have to pee. I really have to pee, but I'm stuck here."
True.
He said that right in the middle of Free For All while he was standing there. Didn't make the cut. But yeah, you know what? There's a lot of match that happens live that's great for you guys to keep, because that's something that you guys know that people experience that people don't, and it's a special feeling. So this match was great. I love Ben's white suit. I like white jackets. They're amazing. They make you look fly af. But yeah, the challenge, I don't see why there's so much controversy, and I think we just need to move on and rock it to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that stuff that happens live sometimes stays live, like it's in Vegas, it stays there. And it's just a good thing for the people who are there to get to remember. Like, we don't all get to see it live, obviously. Like, there's a big difference between a live event and everything else. And the other thing is, Mark Andreyko might not have been mic'd during that moment. So it might not have been cut, but it might not have just necessarily made it into the video because of miking.
It could have happened that could have happened, or they may have not recorded it. Bibb's saying he has to pee. The only reason why that wasn't in the cut is because he said that during a break. during while they were setting things up. Like things you experience that you think is happening live, they might not have captured. So it could have just been that as well.
Yeah.
It feels like we should have caught it though, because Mark Andreyko was sitting literally right next to Harloff and Ellis's booth. So like
it depends on the type of microphone.
He himself is not mic'd, but he's at least within range of a microphone.
Well, there's something called an omnidirectional microphone or a unidirectional microphone. Depending on the type of microphone that was being used, they only pick up from one direction or multiple directions. So if it was a unidirectional microphone,
stay on target.
Yeah, but this is actually about the Schmoedown. Look, like in the actual, when you're watching a Schmoedown live in the studio, you can clearly hear the music. The music is super loud, but when you get the board tape of that music, you can only hear what's coming right directly into the microphone, and the music that you hear is very faint in the background. A board tape only picks up what is strictly on the mic. Anything that happens outside in the crowd, that would be mic'd by the crowd. Now, they could have probably mixed the crowd noise for that section, but to do that post-production wise probably would have been more cumbersome to find that part and sync it to that portion of video than it was worth. So in turn, it probably wasn't worth for the post-production team to go through the trouble to put that in. That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
I think I don't need 4 years of film film anymore.
This has been Mike Talk with Chris and Kristen, and you're welcome for that. The best show on the internet. Abe, did you have anything that you'd like to add?
Oh yeah, I just want to give props to Clark Wolf, because I think she makes something very interesting. They made a decision, like she entered with so much confidence that you could see Rachel like more calm than she probably was, because she made it clear that she's been very nervous about it. And Clark's confidence, obviously when you have someone with so much confidence next to you, gives you confidence, and they were able to have a great game and win.
Absolutely, and that's something that I think that really did come and play into this, was that Rachel was more nervous about it being the live event and everything. I'm not sure if that impacted her game necessarily, because I think she still had a pretty solid game. Obviously, Clark had a more impressive game, but not by much. Not by much. And really, at the end of the day, it all came down to the third round, because the Shire Wolves are very consistently like 2 points ahead of Team Action in each round. So, but yeah, that challenge, I understand why some people are, I don't want to say complaining, because there are some people who are complaining, but there are some people who are just making conversation about this. And I understand why they're bringing it up, and I do believe that there is a need for a rule book, which is something that Christian has said. He said during the rundown, I believe, that they are going to be making one, and it's something that we've been wanting on Take 3 for months, and it's something that I've made suggestions about to some people, and it's good to see that it's actually going to be put in place. It's going to be made by Christian and Skaliski, and then with input from competitors. I think that's awesome. I think that's completely 100% necessary. Get it in black and white. That way, when they make the decisions, we don't have these conversations every time. Oh, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, in this kind of situation, if you can, and this has happened live before, where either the crowd is loud or the other competitors are loud, or they just couldn't hear what they said because they were mumbling, there's a number of reasons why the announcers might not have heard what the competitors had said. In those instances, if they ask for a repeat of what was just said, they expect it to be the same answer. And it's up to the competitor at that point whether or not they want to cheat the system or play it like a fair competitor. In this case, Ben did change his answer, which was, he knew what they were doing. He knew that he couldn't hear the answer. He asked for a repeat. He asked, what? I couldn't hear it. And instead of saying the same answer, he changed it. So it is what it is. If that was in the rule books, though, there wouldn't have been a fight. It would have been like, I'm looking for the same answer, and it's in the rules. They wouldn't have been able to challenge it. It would have just been, sorry, you didn't get the points. It is what it is. So with that being said, there was some more stuff to discuss.
Oh.
Really?
I think we can skip the last part of it. There's nothing that happened.
A Patreon shout out?
No, nothing else happened. Fine.
Shout out the Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to actually. There is a. Do we have the thing? Oh, Matt. Do we have the video for Matt?
Oh, do you want me to cut to Matt? We can cut to Matt
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
I'd like to cut to Matt because what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the big reveal. So, we'll cut to Matt.
Sandwiches?
Yes, about sandwiches. Yeah.
Oh, so Matt is gonna be giving his thoughts in 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt. I'm sorry that I couldn't be a part of this live spectacle because, you know, work. I need money. But I wanted to just really give my quick thoughts on the 5 Horsemen reveal. This is incredible. This is one of the best reveals that the Schmoedown has ever done. I think, you know, I talked about it on the reaction. I mean, the team that you have Matt Nose, John Roca, Mark Riley, Dan Merle, and Jason Inman. I think it's awesome to see Jason Inman finally a part of Faction. He was always talking about it. You know, he was always like, why should I join? I think he made a really good choice given the people who he's with. John Roca, Matt Nose, already been a fan of these guys, but it's great that I can now, I think the 5 Horsemen is probably now my favorite faction. As it is many. Dan Merle, I do not be a jerk. I've never been I respect him as a competitor, as a 2-time champ, and the things he's done in the league, but he's never been, one of my favorites, so I wasn't, you can see on the reaction, I was like, oh, okay, he's back. But Mark Riley being back, I'm so happy because I don't think they would bring him on and they would do a reveal like that if he was just going to be the manager. I think that means either this season or next season we're going to see Riley back, which I'm so excited about, of course, because it's Mark freaking Riley and he's back. So yeah, 5 Horsemen. I can't wait to see what this faction does.
Oh, they can't.
Well, there's 5 of them.
They can't.
5 shadowing.
Watching Matt. Okay.
All right, we're back live. So we're gonna talk, go around the board and talk about this. I don't know what to call this, surprise, the reveal, and basically just the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen. Obviously, it started with Guy and calling out Merle, and then Ben. I'm pretty dang sure that was Ben. Came out and pretended to be like a...
No, it wasn't. It was Dan Merle.
No, it definitely was not.
Dan Merle doesn't have hair.
Yeah, I know. That was the biggest giveaway that it wasn't him, was that there was no hair. Or that there was hair, you know. But it was a funny little bit, and it was interesting to see that because I thought, oh, Dan Merle's coming out right now to challenge him, and then it was the 4 Horsemen showing up. So it was a nice, twist and then twist. They smoke screened us with Kalinowski for weeks, and they smoke screened us again, and then they smoke screened us again. They're just really, really trying very hard to make all of our jobs more difficult for people who do this all the time and break down all these little tiny tidbits of Schmoedown goodness. So we're gonna go around the board and find out what everybody thought about this great reveal. We're gonna start with we're gonna start except for Chris. We're gonna start with Malcolm. What did you think about the reveal of the 5 Horsemen?
The reveal of this was great. I mean, it started off by making, I think it was only 4, which includes Mark Riley and Jason Inman. I mean, I did not see... I kind of predicted Inman might join, but I did not see Riley coming over time and joining up Frogo. But then all of a sudden you hear this music from The Shining. It was like, and then this 5th figure appears, and it's Dan Merle, comes out and takes the microphone from Andrew and just cuts the promo going, I only want to hear one word from you, that better be yes. Andrew tries to goes like, it's like just one word. And there was just it was just the fact that we're getting Dan Mill back is just mind blowing.
Absolutely, I loved it. I thought it was a great reveal. Chris, we're gonna get you out of the way because your humbuggery is gonna bring this all down for a minute. So humbug away, Chris.
Right. I wish you guys could hear our conversation while Matt's video was playing, but I muted everybody so you couldn't hear what we were talking about. But this is my opinion. This bullshit 5 Horsemen ordeal thing, I mean, they had a perfect stable. They literally had a perfect stable with Robert Meyer Burnett and William Bibbiani, 2 of the best players ever. Love Bibbs, love Rob. I can't say that Jason Inman, I cannot say that Dan Murrell, and I cannot say that Mark Riley are to me as special as having those 2 guys on the same faction. I think the 5 Horsemen should have been Roca, Nost, Robert Meyer Burnett, William Bibbiani, and the big reveal should have been Whitney Seibold. That would have been
not a big reveal.
That's not a big reveal at all.
It would have been an amazing reveal. How, you just
No.
call it a small reveal? I'm really triggered. But look,
It's not even a reveal.
I would say that the moment seemed like it was epic. Being there was probably epic, but I cannot, for the sake of myself, say that this is a better Horseman faction than it originally was. You don't have 2 of the most passionate, knowledgeable people in the movie industry on the team, so I cannot, under any circumstances, say that this 4 Horsemen team is at all better than the original. It is like saying, hey, why don't we get Timothy Dalton and Shia LaBeouf to replace what's their names from Sesame Street? What is it?
Elmo?
Wayne and
Elmo.
Garth.
Cookie Monster?
Wayne and Garth. That's Sesame Street. SNL.
Wayne and Garth are not from
Wayne-
Sesame Street.
Wayne and Garth having like Otto Preminger and Sylvester Stallone teaming up as Wayne and Garth. It doesn't make any sense because the original Wayne and Garth are the best. You cannot have. I hope I'm making sense, but the original 4 Horsemen is.
You never knew.
I'm going to disagree with you so much on so many points, but I'm not going to talk about them. I think that we can generally just say that as a group, we all disagree with what you just
Justin Toner doesn't disagree. He says, Chris, I'm rooting for the Beast to beat Snyder for the number 1 contender shot.
No, but that's
Yeah,
a completely. He didn't say. He also said, "LOL, Chris," which is what we say when you say something so outlandish.
I still think that the original 4 Horsemen are better than the 5 Horsemen because it's just a matter of logic. Like, why would you change that? Why would you put so many champs in the same faction? It doesn't make any sense.
Why would you put so many
It's been almost a year.
They left the 4 Horsemen. They left it. It's not like Roca and Nost kicked them out. They left the 4 Horsemen.
Then why didn't Rob come back? He had a home.
Because
they don't want him back.
They got a better champion in Jason Inman. We're gonna move on. Abe,
what?
Did you have anything to say about the 5 Horsemen?
Yeah, when that happened, I lost my voice and I fell off my chair. That is a true story. I started like jumping out back in my bed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, even though I thought about it a little bit before the match, but it was crazy. And I lost my voice. And thank God my mom wasn't here, because if she would have heard me scream, she probably wouldn't be alive.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, that got dark, Abe. Wow.
Oh God.
All right. So we're gonna move on to our 2 people who were actually there. I can't imagine what this reveal was like at the live crowd, minus just what I mean. Did everyone completely lose their minds?
More so than you could have imagined. When we saw the Ben Merle, whatever that was, come out, I think we all kind of realized pretty quickly that that wasn't Dan Merle, and we're like, they're not gonna cheap us out again. They're not gonna say Dan Merle's here and then not have him there again, because the fans, we would not have been happy like that. You could tell everyone in the crowd wanted to see Merle there. So when the Four Horsemen came out and Inman and Riley were there, and I said somewhere earlier, but there's actually foreshadowing that at least Inman and Riley would be teaming up, because in Jason Inman's Inner Geekdom match against Mark Donica, Mark Riley walks out Jason Inman to the match. So you can see right there that there was something building, and maybe you'll see a storyline where the Roca Nost kind of team up with those two who are sort of joining forces right there. But when Dan Merle came out, just how they presented it was, they couldn't have presented it any way better, with the cloaks, with the epic music, with like the fog all over the stage. It was so unbelievably epic seeing the Five Horsemen together. And if you're saying that the Four Horsemen, the original one, is better than the Five Horsemen, everyone in the Five Horsemen has held a belt. Everyone has held a belt in the Five Horsemen. Someone still has a belt in the Five Horsemen. And
Linus, shut up.
No. You said Whitney would be a big reveal. I don't think half the Schmoedown know who Whitney is yet, and he's supposed to be the big reveal. He would have taken off the cloak, and they would have been like, "Who's that guy?"
You just ruined the entire day. Look at that face.
Oh my God! All right, Nico, can you dig us out of the hole that Linus just put us in?
Okay. Okay. So, Ben Bateman and your guy, they're talking to Jen Sturger, getting her name wrong. You hear me shout, "Felony, felony," trying to get him to tackle somebody, and he acknowledges me, and he's like, I just might tackle somebody because of this bullshit. So he storms off, they both storm off behind the stage, but it was in a way that I kind of figured. I feel like they're going to come back out at any moment before this show officially ends. And he does. And he starts calling out Dan Merle. I've been watching wrestling long enough that I know that when someone calls out someone they have beef with, they always bring in a stunt double, or they always bring in like a satire version of the person they're calling out. Like sometimes it'll be Hornswoggle when they're calling out the Big Show. In this case, it was Ben Bateman dressed like Dale the Dude, dressed like Dan Merle, instead of the actual Dan Merle. And so they're doing that, and then all of a sudden the lights go dim. Now, on the actual video for the episodes they released, it's just pitch black screen. But when you're actually in the theater, you can see a little bit of what's happening on stage. So Linus and I see these four hooded figures come out on stage. I didn't really do the math in my head at the time, thinking like, oh, 4 people in hoods. No, it was just like, there's a bunch of people in hoods. I wonder what's happening.
I knew what it was.
And then Matt Nost pulls his hood off. And I'm like, oh my God. And then John Roca does the same thing. And I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. This is happening. And then I see Emmett. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. And then Riley. And my jaw is on the damn. Like, then I see the hands go from this to this. And the pieces and the gears just started rolling. And I'm like, oh, they got Merle. They got Merle. And then he comes out. The hood goes off. And there they are. 5 legends of the sport. Team champions. Schmoedown singles champion. The reigning Inner Geekdom champion. And also Dan Merle. He's also held the movie fights and TV fights belt while he was the Schmoedown champion. So this is just a faction full of belt collectors. You're like, they've done it. They've put the Avengers together. This is it. This is it. And then he goes over to Andrew Guy, and he just makes. He verbally bends him over and spanks him is basically what happened. He's like, you're going to play me. You can't say none of this. This is happening. And then Ben is just like, fine, and walks away. And we get that handshake, that Mega Powers-like handshake. Not the Dagnino and Makuga style. Mega Powers handshake. No, an actual handshake of the best players to ever grace the Schmoedown. And it was just nuts. Amazing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I can't imagine what this was like live. It was a big enough deal, it being on video. I was admittedly trying to go to sleep, and I hadn't watched the match yet, and it was about like midnight when I started it, and I was like, I probably shouldn't watch it, but I'm going to. So I'm in bed, and the dogs are asleep, all like surrounding me, and I'm like laying there watching this thing, and then I see like Ben and Andrew come up with their little shtick, and I was like, man, Dan's just gonna show up at the end of this and challenge him right here. And then the Four Horsemen came out, and I was just like, no way, because I kind of figured this was gonna happen at the live event, but I didn't the way that they did it made sense for it to have been Merle to come out, and then they pushed the Four Horsemen in there at the last minute, and I saw Inman pull his hood down, and I was like, I called that one. And then I thought the fourth one was going to be Mance, and then it was Riley, and I was like, what the heck just happened? No idea what's going on right now. I kind of was losing it a little bit. My dogs were both kind of just looking at me at that point. And then once he started changing his hands to 5, I was like, who the heck else are they going to be bringing into this faction? Once it was Merle, I started just like trying not to yell, because I do have other people in my house right now, but I was just freaking the heck out, and my dogs were very, very concerned about my well-being. But I do want to say that we had that exclusive scoop with John Roca about the fact that the Four Horsemen were no longer the Four Horsemen, and that there was going to be potentially more than that. And so we did know that there were going to be more horsemen than just 4. So the reveal that there were 5 was already something that we dropped as a scoop in our interview with Roca a couple of weeks ago. So I thought that was awesome to see that come to fruition. This was just a crazy, crazy drop that they did, and this faction has turned into one of the scariest factions in the entire league. It is just, I mean, seriously, like mind-blowing. My only question about this at the end of the day is, where the heck does Mance end up during this? Because Inman and Mance are teammates. So
I think Mance has gone on to do like his own thing. Like he's, I feel like his job, his multiple jobs have now put him in a position where Merle was in when he joined the Lions Den, where he just couldn't be there as often as he probably.
He's at Collider now, though.
Yeah, he works at Collider.
Yeah.
He has a show every Friday.
Well, actually,
they shoot matches on Friday.
Again, I just made that point then. But I don't know, like maybe his heart's just not in the competition anymore. At least
I don't think
in teams. Like maybe he feels like he's holding Inman back a little bit, and he
I think like
to go on to
on the rundown that it may be time for Team Trek to split up and each one get a different teammate. And if you remember last year during this time, we started getting new teams for the Ultimate Schmoedown. So it may be that Mance gets a new teammate and it enters
could be Burnett. Would you like that, Clark?
Look, let me just say this. Look, Burnett, when he was on the Horseman, he was still teamed with Schnepp. That entire thing, he was still teamed with Schnepp, but Schnepp was never on the Horseman. So he could still be teammates with Mance. That's all we know. He could still be teammates with Mance.
Yeah, it's
Schnepp
just
never
weird.
had a rivalry with Roca. Mance had a rivalry with Roca.
Right,
Yeah,
that rivalry doesn't
they're
exist.
good anymore. Yeah.
They put that behind them. They put that behind them.
I mean, if Schnepp and
Ask
Rob
Bradley
could
and
have,
everything.
if Schnepp and Rob were teams that entire time he was on the Horseman, then we split up after he went to the Lion. Yeah, Lion.
It's just weird to me because there was, I mean, it would have fit real well to have Scott in the Horsemen, given the very recent, bringing together of John and Scott and them, shaking hands after their big feud and all that. To have the team split up, I would have liked to see that happen on camera. and to have been some sort of storyline moment instead of it being like, now we're speculating about the future of Team Trek. It could still be, and I would love for it to be a storyline moment. Absolutely would love for it to be a storyline moment. But we'll see. I mean, there's time to come, and there's definitely a lot of storyline that's coming out of this match. We're going to talk about the upcoming matches real quick. Obviously, we do actually have the fantasy update to get to as well. We're going to have them play that because we need to... we need to know who's winning in fan. It's not me anymore.
What's up, guys? It's Vinny here with the Day 3 Fantasy Update. So, in first place, we got Super Epic X Team with 383 points. Then, in second place, we got WWMGN Schmoedown with 353 points. Then in third place, we got Team Gorgies as well with 353 points. In fourth place, we got the Penguins with 243 points. In fifth place, we got Tiny Gears with 234 points. In sixth place, we got that Movie Geek with 184 points. And in seventh place, Coyote Alliance with 178. Okay, so that's the standings. Also for trades, the loser Matt has traded. He has dropped Grey Drake. He's picked up Alex Damon because, Star Wars and stuff, okay? So, that's it for your fantasy update. You can follow me, Vinny Stallone, at Vinny Stallone76 on Twitter. Get out of here.
All right, so that was our fantasy update. Obviously, I'm not winning anymore. I'm very upset about that because corgis should rule the world. We are going to talk about the upcoming matches. We're going to do real quick, just rapid fire because my puppy needs to go outside and pee. Rapid fire. The two upcoming matches, who we think is going to win each one and how hyped we are about it. The first one is Rachel Cushing versus Markia McCarty on Tuesday, and that's the Intergeekdom qualifier for that tournament. And then the next one is Drew McWeeny versus Ethan Irwin on Friday. This is also a crazy match. We're going to go around the board, say who you think is going to win each match. Linus, I know you're excited about one of these. Why don't you let us know who you think's winning each one?
I think Cushing will win the first one. I don't think there's a scenario she goes 1-3 in Intergeekdom, no matter who it's against. And Godfather, I think he's going to take Irwin out also. He's got the experience, and you can tell Drew wants this badly. He is an angry man sometimes in those post-credit scenes, and he's not losing his chance to go to the belt again.
I agree with you on both those counts, actually. Nico, who do you have for the two matches?
Can I just say that we win because we get to watch two great matches? I mean, I have no idea who's going to win between Irwin and McWeeny. And again, you're putting me with the Fife Club and the Viper Squad. Both are two factions that I have love for in my own different ways. So I kind of don't want to pick either one. They're sorting out their beefs. I just want to enjoy good matches between those two factions, and I don't want to pick a winner out of either of them.
I definitely am picking a winner, but it's cool for people to not pick one. Malcolm, who do you got between these two matches?
I've got Cushing winning the first one because I don't know much about Marquia's knowledge in the Geekdom at all. And I think Ethan is going to beat Drew because don't forget he's in all his matches he's pretty much gone mostly perfect. So he's definitely going to be big competition.
I completely agree with you. And Abe, who do you got for these matches?
I have Rachel winning, but I think it's gonna be a close one. And I want to win either way on Friday because I'm on the top of the fantasy league. As you guys saw, two of the best players right now, but I'm going with Drew McQueen.
Yeah, you're a butthole. Chris, who do you got for these matches?
I have easily Rachel. She's gonna power drive that person that's going up against her. But I feel like though with Drew McQueen and Irwin, it's hard. Irwin did so well at the free for all, and Drew did okay. He didn't do as well.
He lasted 12 rounds.
Yep,
he lasted 12 rounds.
He lasted the same time.
Yeah, he did.
Lasted exactly the same time.
Oh yeah, he did. Never mind. I'm pulling that out of my ass. I'm thinking of
Drew left.
People just forget about him because he was earlier.
Yeah, that's why he left a little bit earlier. But Drew and oh god, I don't know
like
anymore. I don't know anymore. You know what? Let's see. Ethan Irwin, Drew McQueen. Okay, I'm gonna go with I have to go with Ethan Irwin.
Go with Ethan.
Boo.
Yeah, I have to.
Ethan is winning now.
Okay, so I mean, I get where you're coming from, man, and here's my thing. I want Rachel to win the first match, very obviously. I think she will handily win that one. The second match is a little more contentious because these guys are both ridiculously good at this game. I want McWeenie to win because the storyline of him getting a belt shot against Sam Levine is too freaking good to pass up. I want him to win this match. I also think that Irwin could very easily win this match. It's just because these guys are so good. What are you going to say? So that was our full coverage of the week in the Schmoedown. We do want to thank everyone on the panel, and we also want to remind everyone that this entire weekend of Take 3 and Worldwide Movie Game Network content has all been brought to you by our marathon for the charity Red Rover, and that is a great charity for dogs. So if you have any extra money that you'd like to donate to that cause, feel free. Obviously, there's dogs in need. They're very cute, and donate, because look at how sad these puppies look. We could play you a Sarah McLachlan song if you'd like, but we won't because we'd get copyright. But definitely donate. The link is in the description. We're gonna find out where you can find everyone on our panel. Linus, why don't you start us out? Where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Schmoedown Linus. You can find me on the ATL Facebook page and on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page, adminning and whatnot, that kind of stuff. Yep, I'm around.
Perfect. Nico, where are you located on the internet?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nico Sfire. You can also find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, Multiplex Entertainment for Facebook and YouTube, Multiplex YT for Twitter, and Multiplex Entertainment Network for Instagram. I'm the head of Sports Battlefield over in that particular fan league. And you can also find me later on tonight competing in the Full Metal Geek match, as well as I will be in the corner of Team Smarticus, Jen Kemp and Jessica Morgan, as they go against Brooklyn and Ed for the second time.
Yeah, definitely check the rest of our live programming out for this final day of our weekend streaming. You can find all the information right on our Take 3 Twitter page or our Facebook page if you're a part of that. We want to find out where you can find Malcolm. Where are you at, besides New Zealand?
You can find me all over, doing trivia things all over the place, on all the different channels. You can find me here on Take 3 doing things, and I've got a new show starting next week at Rankum. Hopefully Abe makes it be a graphic and stuff. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, not Instagram, but at Malcolm.
The graphic will happen eventually, and if Malcolm publicly shames Abe enough, it will happen sooner, hopefully. Abe, where can we find you?
I tried doing it. It's hard to do a logo with 5 letters. You got me understand. I tried doing it. It took me an hour. I couldn't figure it out. You can find me on the internet with my IP address, which I'm going to give you to you right now. 192.168.169. In case you want to find me. You can follow me on Twitter at AbrahamF25.
Perfect. Chris, where are we finding you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChrisCluck8788. Those numbers mean nothing. I have a red flashlight for no apparent reason. You can also find me on YouTube at No Man's Land Entertainment every Saturday, producing the Schmoedown Rundown every Wednesday, producing Suddenly Soundtracks. Make sure to donate. I want to thank the donations from Matt Beer and Robert Parker who have been received. Thank you guys so much for your donations. Make sure the link is in the description for Kirk, for Daisy, for everybody who's lost a pet. I'm sure people on this panel have lost pets before, and it's basically family, and it's a terrible thing, and it's for a great cause, Red Rover. So make sure you check that out. We are going to be going live in about half hour or so for the There Will Be Trivia team match, and that will be a joy. Again, this is for charity, and this will be a fun weekend. So bada bing, bada boom.
And as always, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust at Smith_K10, the number, not the word. You can also find me right here on Take 3 Productions in various videos like our reactions and also hosting the summit almost every week. And with that, we want to thank everyone for watching us on our first live summit. We want to thank our really great chat who's been pretty active this whole time. And really, we just are really happy to be able to do this for a really great cause. We hope that you all can tune in for the rest of this really good weekend marathon, and we hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.
Number 46 sucks.